Hello students and learners, welcome to the new lecture, and in this lecture we are going to discuss about blood pressure, coagulation of blood. Okay, these are the two topics that we are going to discuss in this lecture. And first we will start with the blood pressure. So what is meant by blood pressure? Blood pressure means there is some amount of pressure on the blood which is flowing in the blood vessels. Okay, so from where this pressure is coming from? So this pressure which is exerted by the ventricles. So in the last classes also we have seen, let us consider this is the heart, it contains the four chambers. So these all are the ventricles, especially this ventricle. So what is the name of this ventricle? This is the left ventricle. It is going to observe, it is going to exert some amount of pressure. So as a result, the pressure will be exerted on the main blood vessel, that is known as aorta. Okay, so on the from the aorta the blood is going to come, and on the blood there is some amount of pressure. So such kind of a pressure which is exerted on the blood and along the blood vessels or on the blood vessels is known as blood pressure. Okay, so these ventricles are going to exert that such kind of a pressure. Okay, why the blood pressure is necessary? What happens if there is no blood pressure? So if there is no blood pressure, the blood will not flow in the arteries, or the blood will not flow through the blood vessels. So to pump the blood through the blood vessels, so some amount of blood pressure is necessary. So the blood pressure should be there. That blood pressure is 120 by 80. Okay, we will discuss about what is 120, what is 80 after a moment. Okay, so to pump the blood through these blood vessels, the blood pressure is necessary. This blood pressure is exerted by the heart. Okay, so next, BP is also known as blood pressure. Instead of writing whole word, so we are mentioning the BP. BP means blood pressure. It is measured by an instrument known as sphygmanometer. Here in this diagram you can see a diagram. This is known as sphygmanometer. So this sphygmanometer is used to check the BP. Okay, and the blood pressure varies throughout the body. Okay, the blood pressure in the leg is different, the blood pressure in the hand is different, and so on. So to know the particular blood pressure, we need certain area. Okay, that is standard area or the standard place in the body is required. So the standard place is nothing but above the arm. Okay, in the elbow or above the elbow of arm, we are going to take that area as a standard place to check the blood pressure. So for example, if you are healthy, if you don't have any problem in your body, so your blood pressure will be 120 by 80. Okay, so this will be shown by this machine. This machine or the sphygmanometer is going to show 120 by 80 if you are healthy. And there are two pressures or the two readings in it. So those two readings are 120 and 80. So these two, 120 and 80, is going to tell how much blood pressure do you have in your body. Okay, so this 120 and 80, these are mainly due to the contraction and relaxation of the ventricles. Okay, do you see here the ventricles? They are not only ventricles, auricles also, but especially here we are considering the ventricles. So the contraction and relaxation of ventricles gives these results or gives these values, that is known as 120 by 80. Okay, let us consider in the heart. Okay, in the heart the ventricles are going to contract. So what happens if the ventricles are going to contract? We will take the example of left ventricle. Left ventricle is contracted. What happens? It is going to exert some amount of pressure on the blood. As a result, the blood flow out of the chamber into the blood vessels. Okay, that is known as systemic aorta, and again into the arteries. Okay, when it is going to contract, when the left ventricle is going to contract, some amount of pressure is increased on the blood and also on the walls of the blood vessels. Okay, on the walls of the blood vessels. Okay, so if you measure that pressure, the pressure which is exerted by the left ventricle on the blood and on the blood vessels, if you measure that pressure, it will be 120. Okay, so 120, where when the left ventricle is going to contract, you will see 120 millimeters of the Hg. What is meant by Hg? Hg means hydrogen. So what is hydrogen? Mercury. Okay, the scientific name of mercury is hydrogen. So you are going, if you check with it with this machine, it will be 120 when the left ventricle is going to contract. Okay, the blood pressure in the blood vessels also going to increase. The maximum will be the 120. Okay, now the left ventricle will not be in the contracted state all the time. After the contraction, again it is going to relax to fill the blood. Okay, when the left ventricle relaxes, what happens? When the left ventricle relax, it is going to fill the blood. Okay, so when it is filling the blood, there is a drop in the pressure. Okay, there is a drop in the pressure. Hence, the 120 will be dropped to the 80. Okay, hence you can say that the diastolic pressure will be 80. So when the left ventricle is contracting and when the left ventricle is relaxing, it is going to fill the blood. During the filling the condition, the blood pressure will be 80 mm of the Hg. Okay, hence we will take these two values, that is systolic pressure, that is nothing but 120, and diastolic pressure, that is 80. Okay, so hence 120 by 80 is a normal BP or normal blood pressure in the person. Remember, systolic pressure is also known as the pressure applied when the ventricles are contracted, or you can call it as the strongest blood pressure or the strongest pressure applied by the ventricles on the blood vessels and blood to pump the blood out of the heart. Okay, that is known as systolic pressure. So systolic pressure of the for the healthy persons will be 120 mm of the Hg. So diastolic means relaxing. Okay, diastolic means relaxing and filling of the blood in the ventricles. So the decreased blood pressure in the blood and also blood vessels by the ventricles during the relaxation. During this time you can see the ventricles relaxes and also diastolic pressure will be 80 mm of the Hg. Okay. So just now we have discussed the normal blood pressure is 120 mm of the Hg, and the BP changes according to the activity. So what is the meant by activity? For example, if you are running, okay, if you are running, the blood pressure may increase. Why? Because the metabolic rate is more. If the metabolic rate of the body is more, the more blood is required. So hence the heart has to pump more blood. Okay, so as a result it is going to increase the BP. It is going to increase the BP. As a result, while you are running, your blood pressure may increase. If you are at peaceful at one corner, or if you are sitting peacefully at one place, okay, your metabolic rate is going to decrease. If the metabolic rate of your body is going to decrease, the BP is going to decrease to normal condition. Okay, so and so on. Different conditions have the different BP. Okay, next the hypertension. So what is meant by hypertension? Hyper means above the normal. Okay, so here in the hypertension, the force applied by the ventricles on the blood and blood vessels will be too high. It means more than the 120. Okay, more than the 120 mm of the Hg is applied by the ventricles. Why? Because there is great deal of amount of the pressure is applied, so it will be more than 120 mm of the Hg. It means whether it may be 140 or 150 mm of the Hg. It is not normal condition, it is abnormal condition. Okay, so the disease, due to the diseased condition, the people may have the high BP and the low BP and so on. Okay, this is known as hypertension. The force applied by the ventricles on the blood and also blood vessels is too high, greater than the normal blood pressure. Okay, it means greater than the 120 mm of the Hg. And hypotension means, hypo means below, okay, less than the normal. So hence we can define the hypotension as the force applied by the ventricles on the blood and also blood vessels which is lower than the normal blood pressure, that is known as hypotension. Okay, and next coming here, and we will discuss more about it. And 80, okay, normal will be the 80 mm of the Hg is the diastolic pressure, but in these conditions in the hypotension, so it is less than the 80. Okay, or we can call it as a less than 120 by 80 is in the hypotension. And what about hypertension? It is greater than the 120 by 80 in the hypertension. So these two are the abnormal conditions. Okay, next is the coagulation of the blood. What is coagulation? Coagulation means, let us consider, it is the blood is fluid in condition. Okay, the blood is fluid in condition. If the blood is converting into solid, okay, or semi-solid, if the fluid nature of the blood is converted into semi-solid nature, this process is known as coagulation. Okay, so why the coagulation is important? For example, if a person is injured, from the injured area the blood will leak out. Okay, so the blood has to be stopped. So the leaking of the blood has to be stopped, and as a result, to stop the blood from the injured area, the body is having a mechanism, beautiful mechanism, that is known as coagulation of the blood. So blood which is present in the injured area is going to clot or it is going to form a semi-solid mass to prevent the blood loss, and the bleeding will be stopped. So what is meant by bleeding? Bleeding means the flow of blood from the injured area. Okay, so the blood clot is reddish color, reddish solid material formed by the blood in the injured area to stop the bleeding. To stop the bleeding means to stop flowing of the blood from the injured area. Okay, so improper blood clotting. Improper means not normal. Okay, improper blood clotting or delayed blood clotting. Delayed blood clotting means it will take more time. Normally the blood has to take around 3 to 6 minutes to stop the bleeding, but in these people, delayed blood clotting people, they will take more than 6 minutes. Okay, more than 6 minutes to clot the blood. So this is a abnormal condition. So it leads to the profuse bleeding. Profuse means more amount of the blood will be wasted from the injured area in these conditions. Okay, not only that, in the disease conditions like vitamin K. Vitamin K, it is a vitamin. Okay, this vitamin K is also going to help in the blood clotting formation. So this vitamin K is going to help in the blood clotting factors. Blood clotting factors are nothing but these are the chemical substances that are and the proteins that is present in the blood, so that these clotting factors are going to stop the bleeding. So these clotting factors are influenced by this vitamin K to stop the bleeding. Okay, so not only vitamin K, but also some conditions, genetic diseases like hemophilia and also thalassemia. These are the genetic disorders. As a result, in these people also there is a blood clotting problem. Okay, so next is the platelets in the blood releases an enzyme. Okay, these platelets in the blood is going to release an enzyme known as thrombokinase. Okay, remember thrombokinase. So thrombokinase is the enzyme released by the platelets. So platelets is a type of blood cells. Okay, here you can see. So this thrombokinase is going to act on the prothrombin. Let's write the equation here. Prothrombin. Okay. So the prothrombin is going to the prothrombin is converted into thrombin. Okay. So prothrombin is converted into thrombin by an enzyme is known as thrombin. Okay, so thrombin is an enzyme. It is going to convert prothrombin into thrombin. Okay, so next is thrombin. Just now whatever you have seen here, thrombin, it is an important role on fibrinogen. So here you can write the fibrinogen. So the fibrinogen is converted into fibrin. Okay, so this fibrin is soluble form. Okay, so it is soluble in the blood, and its fibrin strands are insoluble. Okay, it is insoluble. So this soluble fibrinogen is converted into insoluble fibrin by thrombin. Okay, so by the thrombin, it means the prothrombin is converted into thrombin by an enzyme known as thrombin kinase, and fibrinogen is converted into fibrin strands by thrombin. Okay, so next, this the fibrinogen is going to help in the blood clotting formation. So the blood cells entangled in the fibrin strands to form the clot. These fibers are attached to address the wound, or they are going to help in the healing of the wound. Okay, let us consider this is an injured area. So this is an injured area over here. So you can zoom over here. So this injured area, what is happening? So this reaction, these chemical reactions is going to occur. As a result, these fibrin strands are going to form a mesh-like structure. So this forms a mesh-like structure, and in this mesh, the RBC and platelets, other cells are going to entangle. They are going to get trapped over here, and it is going to help in the stopping of the blood leaking or bleeding. And also these fibers, these fibrin strands are going to pull the injured area. It means, let us consider this is the injured area. So they are going to pull towards it and help in the healing of the wound. And here we can see here the serum is the yellowish straw colored fluid portion after the clot formation. Okay, in this diagram you can see here in the laboratory, this is my blood. I have taken my blood in the test tube, so for the some experiments. Okay, what I did, I have taken the blood and centrifuged it. Centrifuge is a machine. It is going to help in the settling of the solid components. Okay, after the few minutes, what will happen after centrifugation of 5 minutes or 10 minutes, the blood cells is going to settle at the bottom. You can see here, this is the blood cells that have been settled down, and on the settling of the blood cells, on the top of it you can see some fluid portion. So this fluid portion is known as a serum. Okay, can you see here? It is light yellow in color. This is light yellow in color that is formed above the cells. Okay, above the cells, such kind of fluid above the cells or the blood cells is known as serum. Okay, so this serum is also can be formed on the blood clotting in the injured area also. Okay, so the blood clotting is delayed due to the vitamin K deficiency, and hemophilia is a genetic disorder just now as we have discussed. So in these people who has the hemophilia genetic disorder, they have the problem of the blood clotting, and as a result the blood do not coagulate. So if the blood do not coagulate, what will happen? So they will have the problem of the bleeding as a result. If they have the over bleeding during the injured area, they may die. Okay, so next is the thalassemia. It is an inherited disorder related to the blood, and we are going to discuss about hemophilia and thalassemia after this chapter in detail. Okay, and I hope this lecture is helpful to you. And also, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel so that you will get notifications about the new lectures. And like the video, share, and also comment. You can ask your questions and also doubts, and also you can post your suggestions in the comment box. And in the next lecture, we are going to discuss about how materials transported within the plant and how the water is absorbed. Okay, and we will see you in the next lecture. Okay.